When women get disenchanted in the dating pool, they focus on friendships and work, which is totally true. There are also simultaneously many of which are miserable. We are, the most incredibly addicted to antidepressants and suicidal ideation. The most miserable women of the West are those that are unmarried without kids.
He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president. And so much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts, his staffing, his support, and his friendship. I don't think that I'm alone in saying that Charlie was the smartest political operative I ever met.
Joseph Rose. I host the Hail Satan podcast. I organize a group called Satanic Delco for, I guess we're going on 6 years now. And people get very upset sometimes when I say things.
Just starting up the video. Hold on, everyone.
I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
I am sorry to keep you all waiting. This is going to be a great interview. I've got Joseph Rose lined up. We're going to see if we can't get him to hop on here. He has already turned me down once. I apologize once again if you were watching and you saw it without sound. I am out in the country. I am having some connectivity troubles because I'm deep in the woods, folks. Deep in the woods. I apologize once again. We're all straightened out now. I've got Joseph Rose here on text. I'm trying to get him in here. He has turned me down once already. He didn't want to do this live. He definitely wanted to make sure that he could prepare and have edits and make sure that he looked good. And I said, well, it's not really how we do it at the Grotto. We do things live and out loud in front of everyone, including call out shit ideas in the satanic community. And that's where we're at. So let me check with him one more time, folks. See if we can't get him to come on here.
Racist. And I'm not saying it's because of this, but Black America was getting richer, they were getting stronger, and families were largely still put together before the Great Society, Voting Rights Act, and Civil Rights Act. 60 years later, Black America is in a worse position.
Okay, we've got our moderator lining up. Now give us just a few moments to get it all pulled together.
Yes. And so, again, women my wife is right here. They have an interesting way of communicating. They won't put it as bluntly as I am right now. So let me just kind of put it all out there. Women deep down want to be protected and served.
Of course.
And so they don't want a guy that is earning less or that at some point they feel as if they're going to have to provide for.
Of course.
That is very off-putting.
All set up, and we talked to Mr. Joseph Rose. Oh, damn. I just got another message from him. He says, no. Again. All right. I'm not giving up yet, folks. Let me talk to him, let him know that we're on the air live now, waiting for him to justify his positions like he just requested. And that's how this all started, folks. After engaging Joseph on his Facebook page, a chapter head of the Grotto, a good friend of mine who is taking care of our organization in Wichita, Kansas, our good member there engaged him on how some of his ideas were maybe misplaced or were open to a honest discussion or debate. And our good, outstanding friend of the First Amendment and free speech, Joseph Rose, shut him down, blocked him, and deleted him from the page, which is weird Because it seems like every time I've ever engaged Joseph Rose, including being interviewed on his show, the same thing has happened.
All right, guys, before I end this episode, I want to offer a little bit of transparency for you. There was a section of this interview with Mike that was cut from this episode. The topic was a podcast discussion back in 2003 between Lucian Greaves, back when he was primarily known as Doug Messner, and a guy named Shane Bugbee. Some people are familiar with it, some surely are not. Of those who are aware of it, many find it to be rather unsettling for reasons that are obvious once you hear it. When its existence was brought to light, many members of the Satanic Temple were turned off enough that they left the organization altogether. On the other hand, there are many who forgive the unfortunate language that was used. I've taken the relevant audio from that original podcast from 2003, along with that section of my conversation here with Mike, and I'll be posting a bonus episode with all of that stuff on our Patreon channel. I wanted to put it all together with some relevant discussion to give context to the entire thing, because I know a lot of people listening to it here would hear us talking about it with no frame of reference or context for exactly what we were talking about. So I wanted to create an opportunity for you to hear it with your own ears and then hear what Mike and I had to say about it.
Like, I think it's okay to hate Jews if you hate them because they're Jewish and they wear a stupid fucking frisbee on their head and walk around and think they're God's chosen people. But it's not okay to hate somebody just because their parents were stupid fucking Jews and wore stupid frisbees on their head and thought that Jews were God's chosen people. I mean, that's not what they choose to go along with, and they're normal people too.
If they're Jews?
Oh, if they were born of Jewish blood, but if they don't follow that whole Zionism line of bullshit, they're okay.
Are you telling me anyone with Jewish blood is okay with you?
No, I'm telling you that not everybody of Jewish blood is okay with me. It depends on if they follow the Jewish...
Do you like Satanic Jews?
Satanic Jews are fine.
I don't know about that.
Then they're not
I don't like any
Jews. It's Zionism.
Hey, Jew blood, one drop of Jew blood means you ain't breaking bread with me, motherfucker. Why, you Jew? You Jew?
Yeah, no, some of the...
Hey, he's getting upset. I think his ears are turning red. I think his last name might be fake for a Jew.
Fuck, look at me.
Well, maybe...
I'm an Aryan king.
And maybe so many of the Jews wouldn't have been killed if they wouldn't have all turned on each other like they did during World War II.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of that's been covered up. That there was a lot of fighting amongst themselves. And also, we should never forget that it was not 6 million people. It was actually under 3 million.
More Polish folk died in the concentration camps and in the showers and in the ovens than the Jews. But no one talks about that.
Exactly, yeah.
That's why I hate the Jews.
The Poles, the Russians, the Gypsies, many more of them were slaughtered than the Jews, but the Jews are the ones who go around and demand money from the Swedish banks and do all this stuff. They want reparations just like the blacks. You know, it's bullshit. And speaking of eugenics, up until the mid-'70s in California, they did sterilize retarded people and stuff. Something like 18,000 people were sterilized up until, I don't know, 77 or something. And now they're talking about giving those people reparations and their family members.
So, this free speech absolutist who says that Charlie Kirk and his brand of speech are protected and okay by him. Well, maybe not even okayed by him, but he's going to allow it.
If you want to have a privileged life in America, very simple. Start acting a certain way.
What do you mean act a certain way?
Get married to one person and stay married to that person and don't abandon them, of which 75% of black men do.
So, okay, we have 2 black men right here. By that statistics, one of us is not going to get married to one woman. So,
okay, I hope you guys defy the odds.
Okay, so
were you raised by a two-parent household?
Yes, I was.
Okay, good. And that's why you are probably here, because that elevates my argument. Our belief system is that you come down to the most foundational family unit, And when that breaks down so severely, don't be shocked if that group, when it acts that way, stays in poverty over a longer period of time.
Man, that just doesn't sit right with me. And I think if it sits right with anybody else watching this, you really need to check yourself and what you're doing in this world. Learn about the paradox of tolerance. Learn about what it means to be somebody that's and actually attacked, and not just in a studio calling himself a Satanist, regurgitating things that we heard from LeVay, actually adding to the satanic movement. Joseph Rose, hear me now. You are not a community organizer. You are a podcast who wears Satanism like eyeliner. There are lines being drawn in the sand right now in America and in the satanic movement. Anti-fascism at its core is satanic. We take it very seriously in Kansas. Give me a second. I'm going to go check on our friend Joseph Rose and tell him that he has a chance to respond to me right now, publicly in front of the world. And I'm also going to check on our moderator, who's getting everything set up and should have a link to Joseph right now going. Let's see what we can get set up. Hold with me just a little bit longer, folks. Joe, if you're watching, I'm right here. I'm ready to speak to you on this, honestly and openly, without a script, live in front of everyone. So please take time to respond to this. Please hop on here and defend yourself. I will give you the time and the open air to do so. I'll go check with him again, folks.
Is if I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome.
Our moderator has the equipment all set up and is getting that lined up and sent over to Joseph Rose. Now I'm trying to contact him. I think he's dodging me. His exact quote was, "Now? Haha, no, I'm not even home. I wasn't asking you to do it right now. Just when we could." Well, Joe, what you like to do and what the world asks are two different things. You had plenty of time to argue on this morning. Just come on and say something for 5 minutes, Joe.
You get the worst ideas when you have secularism. Men give birth. No borders. America's a terrible country. These things are almost all outgrowths of secularism.
Okay, I sent him another message. He was very keen on it. I want to point out he did ask me first to do this. He, of course, runs that shitty podcast, Hail Satan, that, like I said, I've been on it before, and he's edited me off that. He wouldn't play that episode. That was back, by the way, when he was still writing the Satanic Temple for all the money he could off that, without ever actually putting in the work with the inner workings of it, like we did. And when we got in there, we realized how much trouble there was and what a cult of personality was, and we exited from that. And then when we tried to go on Joseph's show to explain our position with this and why we took issues with the Friends of program and things like that, he did the same thing that Bob Larson did. He played the old, "oh, my connection's bad" game, and then didn't post it because it was not convenient to what he was trying to do right then, which was steal as much as he could from TST without being part of it as he could. And then, of course, he flipped, right? And now he's some kind of like weird independent LeVayan who's kind of got a group, but it's more like a fan base, but it's more like these people probably really want a community and they're stuck with this guy.
No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian?
You know, and I've tried for years. I've known Joseph for a very long time. We probably did that interview 2020, 2021. I think the Hell Satan podcast's been out at least that long, if not longer. He had already been doing quite a bit when I interviewed the first time. And then there was, of course, the time Joseph was being a little Machiavellian weasel sneaking around the Grotto open forum, which, by the way, anybody's invited to. Please come and join us in the forum, see how we talk, how we run things, how we organize. You're more than welcome, just like Joseph was. And then when we were planning for the Black Mass and we had a meeting scheduled on there for our Fire and Brimstone team, for our members to get updated on what was going on and how we were going to address things, he sure did slink in there to try to catch as much scoop as he could for his show. The new one, Satanic Late Night Delco bullshit, and then didn't even have the courtesy to ask me to come on the show to explain our part when he announced it after. Also, I let him stay for the meeting. I indulged him, let him ask questions. I wanted him to see what a community who lives in the same area, working for the same purpose, fighting for freedom in a very red, very hostile state, what that might look like for him, in hopes that even through some of our differences, that he could see something and maybe see the things that I'm looking for in Satanist community organizers, people who understand what we're doing and what this movement is in greater aspects than just his narcissism. And it failed. It failed. He immediately got on the show and wanted to do a gut job on the Grotto and what we were doing without ever involving us in actually getting to defend ourselves. So it's strange now that I would present another live as Satanic Delco was, and he wouldn't show up because I showed up to that Delco. I don't want to forget that part of the story. I knew his arrogance, and when I saw that was a first brand new episode of something, I was like, I just wonder. So I showed up and I waited in the comment section like we have here below us, and just started answering questions that he was asking that could just easily be explained. Why did they do this? I disagree with this. I disagree with that. Well, we had answers and reasons for why we did everything we did. And I just put that in the chat. And I think finally his moderator, the lovely person, looked very upset. And I think signaled him, hey, Michael's here. Michael's always here.
If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Because the Grotto, as a rule, embraces conflict. We think it is the single most important thing in this world to embrace conflict. Because when you do that, you refine yourself, you refine others, you become stronger, faster, smarter. And we have a problem with people who evade that, who slink around, and every chance they get, they're trying to avoid conflict, avoid responsibility, avoid pain, frustration, hurt. We don't, that's not us. We don't do that. We find it weak, honestly. And I say we, there are plenty of people who have plenty of opinions in the Grotto. So let me redefine that as I personally, as the president of the Grotto, founding this group and having worked in it for 6 years to develop and grow an authentic satanic culture for Kansas, I get real frustrated by that because I've seen myself and so many members of the Grotto put in the work and put themselves out there and make things happen. Not me. The Grotto shut down the state of Kansas for an entire day. The last day of legislature, we had our Black Mass planned. And you know what? They worked until 3 in the morning on a Thursday night so that they could run away and not come back the next day when we would be there. So when anyone comes to you and says that they're protecting their First Amendment rights and speech and what that means, I want you to check their receipts. I want you to really think about what that person has invested and put on the line. And are they talking out of their ass? I've been arrested. Other members of the Grotto have been arrested. We have fought, and we have made the state capitulate and drop those charges. We were attacked by the Kansas City Archdiocese, who tried to gut this group within 3 days. A blitz attack on our rights and our ability to organize, and we beat them. We don't run around talking about our philosophy without understanding and having implemented it. Joseph Rose, much like Charlie Kirk, keeps talking out of the side of his neck. And on that, folks, I'm going to try to contact him one final time for today. We're running at, 21 minutes, it looks like, by the counter. Hell, I'll even give it 30 minutes for sure. Let's see if he denies me flat out a second time or not. I've not seen a text come back from him, but I might have been in deep there. Oh, here we go.
Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder.
Yep. He says, I'm the one that offered this. I'm fine to do it. I can't do it at this moment. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're a coward. That's really what you are, Joseph. You're a coward. And once again, we just don't play with that. If you guys haven't noticed it, this isn't a game anymore. This isn't a drill. It's happened. We're not looking at the beginning of something. We're in the thick of it. There are some people who are still operating on principles that we're still on the edge of this thing and can pull it back. We're in it. Sorry to tell you guys that. I'm sorry to be the one to have to break this news. We're in the middle of it, and we are fighting now harder than ever to preserve what we've had. If you haven't seen my speech from the Capitol, please don't just do it for my views. I want you to go listen to what I said. The things they are doing right now are the same things they've been doing other places. We know this playbook. These men will not give you a pass because you believe in the First Amendment. These men will not give you a pass if you are gay and a Republican. These men will not give you a pass if you do not bow to their every single whim. And you should listen to me. Because I am a heretic that was banned from their tribe and excommunicated. And I'm telling you, I know what's been capable of.
We'll see. We'll be announcing. They're already under investigation. They're already under major investigation. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say are on the left. They're already under investigation? Already under investigation.
We are not here as the Grotto to be a happy club, shaking hands and pretending the world's okay. We are a source for political and social change. We are Satanists who believe in being adversaries. We aren't here to compete with other types of Satanism because we don't fucking care about them. We are here to break the system.
Thank you, President Trump. And as you made clear, Antifa is a domestic left-wing terrorist organization. We've seen them on video for years because they wanted to be seen and they got away with it. They beat journalists, they attack courthouses, they attack police stations, they dox and assault our law enforcement officers. The Biden administration let them commit these crimes with total impunity for years.
That's what a grotto's about. That's what organizing is about. Where are we at? 25 minutes. I'm sorry, folks. Give me just a second to pull myself together. I'll be right back.
Around, but they have been very threatening to people, but we're going to be very threatening to them, far more threatening to them than they ever were with us, and that includes the people that fund them.
All right, folks, I just sent Joe one final message. I'm sorry if I'm passionate about this. And I'm sorry for the interruptions as we try to get it sorted. While we're killing a little time, hopefully he will text me back here. I sent him another one.
Flag burning mob, and we've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it from not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts.
Look, if you don't know about me or my history, I'm going to come off a little intense, maybe. I was indoctrinated by Christian nationalists, the Pentecostal type to be specific. If you see my interview with Bob Larson, just know that I'm not lying about any of that. Men like Bob Larson inspired a whole generation of men, like Ty Masterson of the Kansas State Senate, goddamn president of the Senate, Chase Blassie. His uncle would be the one that tried to tackle me and eat a cracker out from underneath my feet. That is Senate Majority Leader Chase Blassie, who allowed a family member to attack me during a First Amendment protest. And maybe while we're waiting on Joseph, that's what I will end all of this with. For whatever reason you think we're doing this, trust me, it's way more than you understand. We've done protests under police sniper for wanting to speak who we are, for wanting to challenge others for silencing us. They put men with rifles on roofs and pointed those rifles at my friends, and we kept fighting. We, the Grotto, will always keep fighting regardless of what Alinsky would call the do-nothings like fucking Joseph Rose. I don't care what kind of Satanist you are. We're non-denominational. We'll fucking fight with anybody who fights beside us. I don't care what type of Satanist you are. If you're a do-nothing Satanist, fuck off. Get out of here. Stop talking. Stop wasting our time. Stop spitting regurgitated 1970s propaganda. Move forward. Create something better. Stop holding the rest of us back, for fuck's sakes. God damn. That's it. We're at 30 minutes. I'm going to be honest, Joseph, he's not going to come, right? We all knew that he didn't have a spine.
Under the last administration, the Department of Justice targeted faithful Catholics, Christians, and patriotic parents as domestic extremists. They said, oh, they're extreme because they believe in God. They're extreme because they go to a Catholic church, or evangelicals, where everybody was under the gun. Unless you were a really bad, sick person, then they left you alone.
Whether you agree with me or not, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Thank you for understanding what I'm trying to present and what we're trying to push forward from the state of Kansas, and not just myself, an entire group of close people make this all happen. And we are very serious about what we do and who we are and our philosophy. This isn't a costume we put on. This does not wipe off. We're the children of bloody Kansas. The harshest in fighting and bloodshed in the Civil War. I live in Leavenworth County, where the Kansas Jayhawks fought against slavery. And I take what we are facing now no less seriously than John Brown. So Joseph Rose, feel free to have your opinions on fascist apologies, but do not expect Kansas to suffer your ass. Hail Satan.
Under the Trump administration, we're going after Antifa criminals, and all who fund and support their campaigns are in serious trouble. And we have a lot of records already, a lot of surprises, a lot of bad surprises.